In the next few videos, I want to talk about SQL Server 2005 automation, and I'm using automation for lack of a better term. What I mean by automation is the ability to have administrative tasks be carried out automatically. Now, certain conditions that you see needs to happen. For example, we need to monitor a transaction log. If it gets over 75% full, we need to back up that transaction log and truncate it. We need to watch that memory stays at a certain level, and if we exceed that we notify someone. Those sorts of things. Anything that we need to watch and monitor, we can let SQL watch it and tell us about it. This happens with three key pieces. Okay, the first one is an operator, the second is a job, and the third is alerts. Not necessarily in this order, but the three pieces work hand in hand, and I'll explain those and demonstrate them in the upcoming videos. Let's take them one at a time. First of all, an operator. This is a user who can be contacted by SQL Server 2005. We're going to go in and register particular individuals or users as an operator and then designate how they can be contacted via email, via NetSend, by pager if you have a third-party pager system installed. So these are the people who are going to be contacted when certain conditions happen. A job is a multi-step action that's taken, and it can even cause other jobs or batches to run. So, for example, we have a job that we want to run that backs up a transaction log. Well, we build that as a job, and then we can have it kicked off by an alert. But that job can be many steps, so this can get very complex depending on the task that we need to take care of. Then the last one is an alert. Now, alert really is a job that's run as a result of a triggering condition, and really the alert is that triggering condition that we set up. So we can go up and set up an alert that says, hey, look, if the transaction log exceeds this percentage of being filled, then we need to run a job. Well, something needs to happen here. We need to back this thing up. We need to notify some folks and let them know what's going on. So I'll show you that when we get to the video a little later on creating alerts. Now, there are some fundamental things you need to know about automation. All of the jobs, operators, alerts, and so forth are managed by the SQL Server Agent Service. Now, we haven't talked about that very much, but I'll show it to you in just the next video or so, and we'll get out there in the management tool and take a look at the server agent. Now, you need to set the SQL Server Agent to auto start. You want that service to auto start because if the agent service is not running, your jobs do not run, and you will not get error messages telling you they're not running. They just simply won't run. So we want to make sure that that SQL Server Agent service is running, and we also want to set it to auto start anytime it stops, because that can be actually more dangerous to think that you're covered and you're not than to know you're not covered, if that makes sense. The last thing you need to keep in mind is that all of the information that we create about operators, alerts, and jobs is actually stored in tables in the MSDB system database. So that makes the MSDB database a big target for backup. So once you begin creating jobs, operators, and so forth, you need to make sure you're getting good backups of your MSDB database so that in an event of a catastrophic happening and you have to restore your database, you want to make sure that all the hard work and time you put into building these jobs, operators, and alerts are just simply restored back into MSDB and you're back up and running again. One thing you will see, database maintenance plans and such things as that actually are jobs that are created under the auspices of the SQL Server Agent. So once you do a database maintenance plan, which I'll show you a little later, also, again, once you start that, you need to be backing up that MSDB database because it is part of the SQL Server Agent oversight. So with that, let's go on to the next video and let's create some operators and talk about how to use operators.